You deserve exactly what Dad left you, nothing. My sister said that into a microphone at my father's funeral reception. 58 people heard her, the room went silent. I remember the smell of coffee and white lilies, the sound of silverware against porcelain plates. The way Amanda stood beside our father's photograph and smiled as if she had just stated an obvious fact. My name is Lauren Mitchell. I am 41 years old. This is the story of how my sister publicly announced that I deserved nothing from my father's estate, and how a sealed envelope exposed a secret she had spent 15 years hiding. What Amanda didn't know that afternoon was that my father had anticipated exactly what she would do, and 17 days later, everyone in that room would learn the truth. I grew up in Fairview, Ohio. A town of 14,000 people, the kind of place where everyone knew your family before they knew your name. Our family home sat on Maple Street. A red brick house with white shutters and a front porch swing my father built himself. Every spring smelled like fresh-cut grass. Every fall smelled like burning leaves. Every Sunday smelled like coffee and cinnamon rolls. From the outside, we looked like a normal family. Inside, there was a hierarchy. Amanda first, Lauren second. Amanda was 4 years older than me. Beautiful, outgoing, confident. The kind of person who could walk into a room and immediately become the center of attention. I was quieter, more practical, more comfortable working than talking. Family members adored Amanda. Teachers remembered Amanda. Neighbors praised Amanda. I became accustomed to standing slightly outside the spotlight. At first, I didn't mind. Then adulthood arrived. And the differences became impossible to ignore. Amanda moved to Atlanta, built a career in luxury real estate, posted photographs from expensive restaurants, luxury vacations, corporate events. Everything looked perfect. I stayed near home, became a registered nurse, worked long shifts, bought a modest house, raised 2 children, lived quietly. Whenever relatives compared us, the result was predictable. Amanda was successful. Lauren was dependable. One sounded glamorous, the other sounded invisible. My father noticed. His name was Richard Mitchell. For 38 years, he owned a construction company. He believed actions mattered more than words. He said it constantly. Anybody can talk. Very few people show up. At the time, I never realized how much attention he paid to people's behavior, especially Amanda's. Everything changed in March of 2018. My father received a diagnosis. Congestive heart failure. I remember the smell of antiseptic inside the cardiologist's office, the pale blue walls, the sound of a printer spitting out paperwork. Amanda attended the appointment. So did I. Afterward, she hugged Dad, promised she would help, promised she would visit more often. Then she flew home 48 hours later. I stayed. At first, helping Dad was simple. Doctor appointments, medication reminders, grocery shopping. Then larger responsibilities appeared: hospital visits, insurance disputes, prescription management, home repairs, transportation. By 2020, I spent nearly 20 hours every week helping him. By 2021, it was closer to 30. I drove him to specialists, organized his paperwork, managed billing issues, scheduled appointments. Handled emergencies. Amanda called regularly, always supportive, always concerned, always unavailable. Tell Dad I love him, keep me updated. Thanks for taking care of things. Then she returned to her life, and I returned to caregiving. For years, I never complained because he was my father. The first time Amanda took credit happened at Thanksgiving. 26 relatives attended. The smell of turkey filled the room. Someone asked how Dad was doing. Before I could answer, Amanda smiled. We've all been taking care of him together. Together, one word, one lie. Amanda had visited 3 times that year. I had visited over 300 times. I said nothing. That became a habit. Not correcting people, not defending myself, not competing for recognition. The second incident happened during Dad's 75th birthday party. 39 guests attended. Amanda hired a photographer, organized decorations, gave a beautiful speech. Near the cake table, an aunt thanked her. "You've sacrificed so much for your father." Amanda nodded. Family comes first. I was standing 6 feet away, holding Dad's medication organizer. Again, I said nothing. The third incident hurt more. Dad spent 9 days in the hospital after a severe cardiac episode. I slept there almost every night. The recliner left marks on my shoulders. The coffee tasted burnt. The fluorescent lights never seemed to turn off. Amanda arrived on day 8. The next morning, she posted a photograph online. The caption read, "Taking care of Dad during difficult times." Family is everything. The photo received hundreds of comments. Hundreds. I wasn't in the picture. That was the moment I realized something. Amanda wasn't accidentally receiving credit. She was taking it, and she had become very comfortable doing it. 6 months later, Dad heard her doing exactly that. A family barbecue, 34 relatives. The smell of charcoal and fresh-cut grass. Amanda stood near the grill telling stories. I've basically been managing Dad's care for years. People nodded sympathetically. An uncle asked how often she visited. Amanda laughed. You know how it is, constant phone calls, managing everything behind the scenes. Managing everything. I looked toward Dad. He heard every word. He sat quietly on the porch swing, watching, listening, saying nothing. Later that evening, after everyone left, he looked at me and said, "Your sister talks a lot." I smiled. "She always has," Dad nodded, then said four words, words I would never forget. "Words are cheap, Lauren." 3 months later, he updated his estate documents. I didn't know why, neither did Amanda. At least that's what she claimed. Then January arrived. Dad's health deteriorated rapidly. Hospital visits became frequent. Emergency calls became normal. Sleep became optional. On January 14th at 2:11 in the morning, my father passed away. I was holding his hand when it happened. Outside the window, snow covered the parking lot. The room was silent except for the hum of medical equipment. Amanda arrived 43 minutes later. For a few hours, none of the old conflicts mattered. We were simply daughters who had lost our father. Then came the funeral, and everything changed. 4 days later, 58 people gathered at the funeral reception. Family, friends, neighbors. Former employees. The room smelled like coffee and white lilies. A slideshow of family photographs played silently in the background. At first, everything felt normal. Amanda thanked everyone for attending, shared memories, told stories, then her tone changed. I know many people are wondering about Dad's estate. The room grew quieter. Amanda smiled. Then looked directly at me, across the room, in front of everyone, and said, "Lauren deserves exactly what Dad left her." Nothing. Silence, complete silence. I remember seeing people turn toward me. Waiting for a reaction, I didn't give them one. I simply picked up my coat, walked outside, and stood alone beside the parking lot. The cold air felt better than being inside that room. A few minutes later, Harold Bennett joined me. Dad's executor, Dad's attorney, Dad's longtime friend. He stood beside me quietly, then said something strange. "Your father expected this." I looked at him. "What do you mean?" Harold stared at the snow. "There are documents you haven't seen yet." 17 days later, Amanda and I sat inside Harold's office. 3 binders rested on the conference table. Beside them sat one sealed envelope, cream-colored, untouched. Harold completed the estate review first: property, investments, savings. Approximately $1.4 million total. Then he opened the binders. Inside were years of records: appointment logs, hospital records, insurance paperwork, visitor histories. Every page documented the same thing. I showed up. Amanda talked. Finally, Harold opened the envelope. The room became silent. He unfolded several pages, then began reading. "If you are hearing this, Amanda has probably done exactly what I expected." Amanda immediately froze. Harold continued. "For years, one daughter worked while the other daughter talked." The room became painfully quiet. Lauren never asked for recognition, she simply showed up. I felt my throat tighten. Then came the line, the same line Dad had spoken on the porch. "Words are cheap." Amanda looked down. Harold continued. Then he reached the inheritance instructions. Everything changed. 70% of the savings, to me. 70% of the investments, to me. The family home, to me. Amanda received 30% of the remaining estate, nothing more. Then Harold revealed the reason. A second document, a detailed ledger, 15 years of financial support, college tuition, car payments, business investments, credit card debt, vacation assistance. Condo down payment help, every dollar Dad had given Amanda. Total $286,417. The room went silent. Amanda stared at the page, unable to speak. Dad's final note explained everything. Amanda has already received her inheritance. She simply received it early. Then came the final sentence. The final sentence my father ever wrote. "I am leaving my estate to the daughter who showed up." Nobody spoke. Nobody could. Amanda looked like someone watching her entire story collapse, because for years she had controlled the narrative. Now facts controlled it. The estate closed 6 months later. Relatives apologized. Friends admitted they had believed Amanda. The house remained in the family. And every spring I still repaint the porch swing. The same way Dad taught me. What did I lose? The illusion that everyone sees the same truth. What did I gain? Proof that actions leave a record. And what do I understand now? Recognition delayed is not recognition denied. Sometimes the truth arrives quietly. Sometimes it arrives in a sealed envelope, but when it arrives, it stays. I was never the daughter who demanded credit. I was the daughter who did the work.